Hello, in this video we're going to discuss Schoology's Mastery feature. As you can see here in this course, there are different folders and resources and materials that students can use. First, let's take a look at this assignment. This assignment has a learning objective attached to it. This discussion board also has a learning objective attached to it. You can also add learning objectives, or TEKs in this case, to resources that you add, PDFs, Word files, and so forth. You can have multiple ones. But most importantly, in assessments, you can add learning objectives to each question as well. For example, let's take a look at Math Daily Prompt. As you can see here, these questions have already been created, but when you add a question to your assessment, once you put the question in, the answer choices, then you select the correct answer, at the very bottom you'll see a Learning Objectives button. When you click on here, you want to go to State Standards, select Texas, Essential Knowledge and Skills, and then based on the content this question is based on, you would select it, then the grade level, select the main TEK, and then select the ones that actually this question pertains to. It could pertain to multiple ones or just one. Once you select it, you'll click on Confirm, and it will show you the learning objective attached to this question. Now let's go back here. So once you have an assessment set up with different learning objectives, as you can see here, this one has 2 learning objectives, this one has 1. You can click on Mastery on the left side of your courses, and it will show you the list of students. It will show you the learning objectives that are attached to either questions, assessments, assignments, discussions, or materials that you've added. It is color-coded to show the different levels of masteries that we'll talk about in just a few minutes. It will show you student averages, as you can see here, listed right below the actual learning objectives. So first, let's take a look at this example here. This learning objective is showing you that 5 out of the 6 students have achieved mastery. 4 have had exceeds expectations, 1 has meets expectations, and 1 does not meet. If you take a closer look at each individual student, for example here, you'll see a star that shows that this student has mastered this TEK based on the number of questions or resources that she accomplishes TEKs from. So you can have, let's say for example, 5 different questions, and to show mastery you choose 3 out of those 5. Now, when you want to look a little bit further into how each of these is set up, we'll look at the learning objectives right here. When you click on the actual learning objective, now it gives you a more detailed view of what they scored and in what assessment and so forth. So here it will tell you the question and the averages as well. Clicking on the learning objectives, in this view it will show you the actual learning objective, and it will show you every resource or material that you're using. For example here, this quiz and quiz number 2, it shows you that in this learning objective not many students scored, the median is 100% here. Here in the second quiz, it shows you that the high was 100. And as more students fill this in, it will give you a better average of what the students are actually scoring it. So we're going to go back to the student achievement. And what we want to do next is go into settings. Here, clicking on the little gear, selecting the Mastery Settings option, you can set the meet expectations, the exceeds expectations. Now you can use the actual slider here, or you can type in what the minimum requirement for meets expectations is and for exceeds expectations. Now keep in mind, once you change this, the color chart behind you will change. Now the third part is the mastery. When will they actually meet mastery of the learning objective? Now you can choose, and it all depends on the minimum number of assignments, quizzes, and so forth, when they actually reach actual mastery. So for example, let's say they were tested on this in 5 different ways, either in assessments, discussions, and so forth. So if they scored 3 out of the 5 with 100% or meets the mastery level, then they've met. Now, you have a choice here of grade overall learning objectives by, and there's different choices. There's by highest score, average, and decaying average. This is going to be completely up to you as the educator, which you choose. So I'm going to put these back to 50. But actually, let me change these so you can see how it changes the chart altogether. So now, she still has 100%, and you can see here, some students still needed to score a little bit higher on their second quiz to reach mastery. We can go back in here and change it back to what it used to be. And again, this is going to depend on your preference, but it will change this up later on as well. So this is a very good tool for you to keep track of how your students are doing in particular learning objectives, and you can go back to original assignments and so forth. If they don't have the learning objectives, you can go back into it and add them, and then the system will automatically repopulate all this information. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much.